For my previous two reviews, Godzilla 2014 and Kong Skull Island, I spent a little more time discussing the stories in those movies. I don't feel that is as necessary for this one because the human story is a little less captivating. It's still perfectly fine, but it more so serves as a way to logically string these even more audacious kaiju sequences together, and that's absolutely fine by me. Let's get this show on the road. The movie opens to the birth of Mothra. Old fans will recognize her instantly, but to anyone new, this is Mothra. She's pretty cool. Shit kicks off more or less instantly. This movie jumps right into the action and doesn't waste any time. We have three main characters to worry about: Emma, Mark, and Madison, the daughter of these two. Emma uses this wacky device called the Orca to regulate the emotions of Mothra, somewhat getting her under control. Bad guys break in and just fuck everything up. Absolutely no respect for other people's personal property, but whatever. Both Emma and Madison are taken. For my review of Godzilla 2014, I kinda goofed and referred to Dr. Serizawa as simply the leader of operations, which he was, but he's a much more significant character than just that. Thankfully, I can show some more appreciation to him in this review. Serizawa grabs Mark in hopes that he can help track the Orca and find Emma and Madison. Mark holds resentment to the Titans, especially Godzilla, as his son was killed in the events of the 2014 movie during the Muto outbreak. This is a recurring element throughout the movie, but it's not over the top or overbearing or anything. The main villain, Jonah, takes Emma to the site of Monster Zero. To save you guys the suspense, yes, this is King Ghidorah. Serizawa's team, Monarch, suddenly track Godzilla as he is on the move. Serizawa and Co. follow him and are led to the site of Monster Zero. Monarch infiltrate the base. Mark tails behind and manages to actually find Emma and Madison, but when Madison refuses to join him, likely out of fear or resentment, Emma sets off the charges in the ice, releasing Ghidorah. Yeah, Ghidorah just unleashes carnage, man. Oh my god. It's kind of weird seeing each individual head animated and doing its own thing. For some reason, I always thought of them as all one collective conscience, but this portrayal looks more like they're all conjoined triplets, especially this part where the middle head chomps the left one. Got a chuckle out of me. Anyway, Godzilla is here. Woo! They duke it out for a bit. I love how they use Godzilla's classic roar sound when he falls here. That's another recurring thing in this movie, lots of callbacks and nods to the first series in particular. Ghidorah flies away because he's a vagina. Emma calls into the Monarch sub, giving a rinky-dink speech about how humans are the infection killing the Earth and I'm releasing the Titans because they're the Earth's natural defense. Shut up, bitch! RODAN is here! RODAN is lured over to Ghidorah. This is fairly one-sided, to be honest. Ghidorah knocks him right down. But now, Godzilla's back in the ring. Yoink! Just as Godzilla is getting the better of Ghidorah, the military decide to spoil the fun and straight up drop the fucking oxygen destroyer on them. True alpha chads will know the oxygen destroyer is what was used to kill Godzilla in the first movie of the first series. When it is dropped, only one kaiju surfaces and it's Ghidorah. To all those unfamiliar, Ghidorah is often portrayed as an extraterrestrial. This is also the case in the Monsterverse, which is why he wasn't affected by the oxygen destroyer. Then of course he has to gloat. Dude, you won on a technicality, man. He lets out a mighty roar, riling up all the other Titans. Catch a few glimpses of them all going rogue and fucking shit up. Monarch descend down after picking up Godzilla's heartbeat. He is still alive. He's seeking refuge in what looks to be a lost city of a civilization long buried by the ocean. The radiation levels are off the charts down here. He was created by radiation, so it stands to reason that it's the source of his strength. He is healing, though very slowly. This process could take way too long. He needs a power up, and he needs it now. Every device they send into his lair ends up fried and losing connection due to the radiation. Serizawa is adamant that he will manually pilot a nuke into Godzilla's chamber, sacrificing himself. It's hard to really describe the emotional weight of this scene. You aren't really attached to Serizawa, but when he takes off his helmet, regardless of the radiation, then his glove, and touches Godzilla, making both eye contact and physical contact with him only moments before the nuke goes off, you can't really help but be overwhelmed with emotion. Serizawa in the original movie was the creator of the oxygen destroyer and sacrificed himself to kill Godzilla. Now he sacrifices himself to save Godzilla. A beautiful parallel to fit a beautiful scene. We get two music cues harkening back to the original series for his return. He's back, and he's pissed. Somewhere along the way, Madison fled the nest with the Orca and activated it in the city. Gotta love a good sonic boom. This final bout is nothing short of legendary, no pun intended. It's everything you yearned for throughout the 2014 movie. Also, they buffed the fuck out of Godzilla's atomic breath in this one. Mothra and Rodan scrap a little bit in between the main card as well. Rodan is shortly after put out of commission by Mothra. Love a good underdog story, and that Mothra certainly is. Emma, Madison and Mark are reunited after a very close call and start moving back to safety. They need to get out of there soon as Godzilla's power-up worked a little too well and he's gonna have a nuclear meltdown in the coming minutes. Godzilla starts losing the battle. Mothra jumps in the middle of things, taking a death beam from Ghidorah. Rest in peace, Queen Mothra. The fight is coming to a close with Ghidorah in the lead until Emma activates the Orca. Madison and Mark are on the plane, but she chooses to jump in the van and drive off. Admittedly, a very clever thing to do because if she ran to the plane, Ghidorah would have just blasted it out of the air anyway and then they'd all be dead. At least this way, she distracts him for a little while until Godzilla's final form is ready. Fans refer to this as his burning form, but the only thing that's burning is Ghidorah. Wave after wave of fire, he melts Ghidorah down to nothing. Finally, the true king returns to his throne. The film ends with him declaring his superiority and all remaining kaijus bow to him. That's about the size of it. Firstly, the human story. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, I can actually commend the actors for making the absolute most of what they were given here. Mark has a sincerely portrayed arc of development where he comes to terms with the existence of the kaijus, or the titans as they're referred to in universe. Serizawa also plays a more significant role in this one. He had a good chunk of screen time in the first movie, but not a lot of it was very memorable. So this movie is a step up for him. A brilliant evolution for a legacy character. A few characters do make some questionable choices here and there, but it's never really the focus. The audience is always cooling off from a battle or around the corner from one. So one lackluster human scene here and there isn't really that big of a deal. I'm so thankful that the focus was on the monsters this time around. We get 4 main monsters here, all with updated looks. Broken record alert. I am a fan of these redesigns, even Godzilla's. He's a little taller in this one and his dorsal fins have alternate shaping. Not exactly night and day, but a welcome change nonetheless. If anything, it just makes him bigger and meaner looking, which I'm all for. You don't want to try too hard, and they didn't. They didn't push any of these monsters to an extent where they're trying to look cool or too modern or hardcore or anything. I was actually surprised to see how well kept Mothra's gentle and serene nature is. They even played into it a little, giving her wings this sparkly effect. You also see a lot more action from higher up in this one. A lot of low angles were used in the 2014 movie, mainly because that movie focuses on the humans and therefore their point of view. This one knows what we want and gives us it in droves. Call me shallow, maybe I am, but I, as well as I imagine a lot of other people, watch these movies for one main reason, being the monsters. But if it comes with a good human story, then that's a bonus. It doesn't quite stay at that consistent high like Skull Island, but its peaks hit much higher. Man, if only there were a movie with Godzilla and Kong? That's a good idea, right? It's kind of weird they haven't done that yet. They should make that and put it on like HBO Max or something. In all seriousness, I do hope you'll join me when I cover Godzilla vs Kong. But until then, thank you for watching. Stay tuned.